Hello and welcome to a full body Pilates class. Today we're going to be all about precision. So that means placing your limbs and your body parts exactly where you want them to be, moving with really good control and technique. So drop me a subscribe and we'll get on with it. If you'd like to join me laying down on the mat, laying down on your back in your Pilates rest posture. Once you're comfortable, start with some pelvic tilts, so arching the lower back away from the mat and then pushing and imprinting your lower back into the mat. So an arch away and an imprint, an arch and an imprint. Take the fingertips onto your hip bones so that you can feel the pelvis rocking forwards and rocking backwards. Nice visualization here. Imagine there's a Malteser running from your belly button down towards your pubic bone and from your pubic bone back towards your belly button again. Lovely. So we're working with nice symmetry. We're noticing the lower back arching and curving. I would like you to then stop that effort and find a nice relaxed posture lying down on the floor here. This is your neutral lower back. This is the kind of arch curve that is natural to you, and that's what we're going to maintain for our neutral spine. So from here, see if you can start to engage some core. So that might be drawing in through the B-line, drawing in through the lower abdominals. Maybe for you, it really helps to draw up through the pelvic floor, and that will cue on some core engagement. Now, as you've engaged your core, just check that you haven't pushed and imprinted your lower back into the mat. Okay, so find your nice neutral, relaxed posture through your spine and then set your centering. That shouldn't have any external repercussions, so any change of posture. You should be able to engage these internal muscles from here. Lovely. So maintaining this neutral spine, let's lift one knee up to tabletop position. Make any adjustments you need and lifting the second knee to tabletop. Again, we should be able to maintain neutral spine. If your back's a bit dodgy or a bit worse for wear today and you feel happier to imprint your lower back, you're welcome to go ahead. From here we're going to do our toe taps. So imagine there's a pond at the bottom of your mat and you're going to dip your toe, test the water and bring the leg back to tabletop. So alternating left leg and right leg. So maintaining this gorgeous neutral. The temptation here as you take the leg away is for that lower back to arch, isn't it? So we want to try and maintain that core connection, keeping hip bones quite close towards our rib cage as we take our alternating toe taps. Now, if you really do feel like your back is arching because actually the weight of your leg is tipping your hips forwards, reduce the range. So maybe just hover above the water and come back up. Hover above and come back up. So you can reduce the range that way and therefore keep a little bit more control around your centre. Good, so we'll go for a few more here. I personally prefer to exhale on the tap, inhale on the return, but as long as you're breathing and not holding your breath, I'm really happy. Scooping in through those lower abdominals still. Another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. Gently bringing the feet back down and just take the knees side to side to loosen off through the lumbar. Top tip here, if your shoulders were feeling really tense or perhaps you were gripping onto the mat for dear life, we're going to rest the hands at the side of the body and turn the palms skyward. That just externally rotates your shoulders, discourages that tension. Let's find our neutral spine again, so that's your nice relaxed posture. Set your centering and find your tabletop legs once more. We're going to speed up these toe taps. So we're going to inhale, prepare. Exhale, tap 1, 2, inhale 1, 2, exhale 1, 2, inhale 1, 2, good, 1, 2, 1. Keep going with this pace, keeping hold of that neutral spine, keeping hip bones quite close to rib cage so that we're keeping that neutral pelvis, neutral lumbar. Good. Keeping the length at the back of the neck, shoulders down away from ears, nearly there. 1, 2, 1, 2, 2 more rounds, 1, 2, and 1, and 2. Lovely, taking those knees and feet back down and relaxing, taking the knees side to side to loosen off through the low back. So taking that one step further, let's find our tabletop legs again. Neutral spine engaged, tabletop legs. The arms are just going to float out away from the body, and then they're going to go slightly overhead at about a 45-degree angle. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears, and we go again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So you're inhaling for 1 and 2, exhaling for 1 and 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Lovely. Keep going. Neutral spine. Keeping ribs and hip bones quite close together, closely connected. And another 1, 2, and a 1, and a 2. Lovely. Bring those feet down, bring those hands down, and again taking those windscreen wiper style knees to loosen off through the lumbar. Next, finding your hands, interlocking the fingertips. We're going to take these behind the back of the head to support the skull a little bit. Now, if you need to, and you've got quite a sore neck, you can bring your elbows a bit narrower to kind of really cradle and give your head support. But we would, in an ideal world, like your elbows wide in your peripheral vision, shoulders down, and collarbones nice and open. Imagine a big wide smile across your collarbones. So let's then start to take our Pilates sit-up, where we hinge from the bottom rib. So think about the bottom rib hinging, and you just look above your knees, and then gently lay back to the mat. So again, hinge from the base of the rib cage, look above the knees, lay down to the mat. So we're just gently elevating away from the mat. That's it. So you think ribs towards pelvis and lowering down. Keeping that peach-shaped gap underneath your chin. So imagine you're just squeezing gently onto a peach under the chin. That will help to keep the front of the neck active and engaged, but also help with keeping the back of the neck tall and in the right posture, the right length. Good. So let's start to make this a little bit tougher. As you sit up, you're going to slide your heel to the bottom edge of your mat. So sit up and slide. Lay back, foot draws in, other leg, sit up and slide. Lay back. Good. So sliding the leg with precision. So you're deciding exactly where you want that leg to go. It's drawing a straight line out from your hip towards the bottom edge of your mat. Drawing your ribs towards your hips each time. So ribs to hips, slide away. Control back down. Ribs to hips, slide away. Control back down. Keep it up. We're exhaling on the efforts. Inhaling on the return. Exhaling on the efforts. Inhaling on the return. Reminder to keep your elbows nice and wide. Shoulders down away from ears. Keep going. You have got your ribs connecting towards your hips as you slide your leg away. And another 5. And another 4. Good. 3. Peaches under chins. 2. Final precise movement of your leg. 1. And return. Nice. Relax your head. Lift your knees in towards your chest and squeeze those knees in for a little bit of a cuddle. You could always take a bit of a rock and a roll side to side at this point if you'd like to. And just take a moment to let your heart rate settle and just reconnect with that breath. Gently taking the feet back down towards the mat. We'll be moving on to our hip twist. Level 1 hip twist. Our hips don't actually move very much. We're trying to stabilize them. So let's bring our feet together side by side, okay? And knees bent. Relax through the upper body. Settle the shoulders down away from the ears. What I'm going to ask you to do is just gently open one knee. Let that knee fall out. Now the temptation is to just let it go and flop out to the side. We're moving with precision today. So as you take your knee out to the side, keep your sacrum, so that's the middle part of your pelvis, in contact with the floor. Try and keep both sides of the pelvis quite heavy on the floor. Okay, so just working this same leg, we're opening and closing with control, with precision, keeping the sacrum heavy on the mat. Think about keeping your belly button pointing up to the ceiling as well. Because if you get any lift of the pelvis, any lift of the sacrum or any twist of the belly button, that suggests that actually we're twisting our pelvis and twisting our spine, and we're trying to keep absolute neutral here. Let's have a go on the other leg. So same movement, nice and simple. You're just going to slowly open the knee and slowly close the knee. And as I say, we're trying to keep any rocking and rolling of the hips to a minimum. So you're keeping the sacrum heavy, belly button upward facing. And almost try and find heaviness down either side of your pelvis. That's it. Now watch this spare leg. This other leg that isn't doing the moving is meant to be still. You might notice that yours opens the opposite way as a counterbalance. That's cheating. Or maybe it's tempted to roll over with you, which again, in which case we need more control. It is cheating. Let's see if we can keep this leg still. One leg still, one leg as a mover. Good, one more. And then bringing that back into centre. Lovely. So that's your hip twist level 1. That's all about stabilising the pelvis using the core. Let's find our level 2, which is going to be the same movement but in tabletop legs. So again, finding a neutral spine, lifting your legs to tabletop, nice core activation. You're going to start to open your whole leg. So if you're just cocking your leg to the side and then squeeze it back in, and we'll alternate here. So we're going to open one leg, draw it back to centre. So heavy through your sacrum. Belly button stays pointing upwards. Nice. Keep working side to side. Keeping heavy through both sides of your pelvis here. Nice, good work. Again, it's a really precise movement, this one. It's one of the early sort of beginner's exercises. But even as a practiced Pilates teacher, I find these really, really nice, really difficult because they require so much focus and so much precision. They never seem to get any easier. I know my core's got stronger, but the precision required in this is really, really good. So opening each leg side to side, sacrum heavy, pelvis heavy. Again, watching for one leg being your mover, one leg being steady and still. Being honest with yourself. Check that your knee is staying stable. Good, we're just here for 4 more. So we're going to open and close. Again, if you're still gripping onto the mat for dear life, have you tried turning your palms up to try and disengage shoulders? Good. So we're working this lovely core stability to maintain the stable pelvic position. Good. So let's bring those back in. And we're going to take that one step higher. So this is where our hip twist actually does begin to twist side to side. So your pelvis is actually going to rock on towards one side, over towards one hip, and then rock and roll towards the other hip. So let's find our tabletop legs again. Set your centering. Knees are remaining hip width apart here. And we're going to see if we can rotate the whole of the lower body so you kind of roll over on towards one hip. You don't need to go any further than 45 degrees here. And then tug through your abdominals to bring your sacrum back to that heaviness in the mat. So going to the other side, you've got your little twist to the side and return back to centre. Can be really helpful to take the arms out to the side of the body now, palms turned up, because that gives you a really good idea of where the middle is. It helps you to keep your shoulders in the middle of the mat, and it gives us that gentle 45-degree turn and that pull, that tug across the lower abdominals to bring you back to neutral. So bringing that sacrum back to the middle of the mat, belly button to the sky, and then going off again. I know it's tempting to go side to side to side, but see if you can return to that neutral and then set off again. Because again, it's that reinforcing neutral in your brain, which is really, really important to us. So you take your twist, and back to centre. Take the twist. Back to centre. If you're struggling to keep your knees hips width, it can be really nice to just hold something between the knees, a block or a ball or something, or a cushion. That's it. We're just here for 4 more. So we're going to take that twist, return sacrum to mat, belly button to sky. Twist, sacrum to mat, belly button to sky. Good. 2 more times. Drawing in through the lower abdominals, get that kind of across body, across tummy tug. And back to centre and release, relax. Really good precise movements. Now we're going to make that one step harder again. We're going to add in a long leg. Longer lever length makes this a harder exercise. So again, you can have your hands at the side of the body if you wish. If you want to make this much harder, we're going to actually just take the fingertips out towards the ceiling somewhere and just relax the shoulders back so we're not using too much effort through the shoulders. Finding the tabletop legs. And this time, starting in tabletop legs, this time we're going to go for our twist, but then straighten the legs so the legs become heavier. Then return straight legs back to center. So you've got the sacrum heavy, belly button to sky. Find tabletop again, twist, long legs, return. Good, tabletop, twist, long legs, return. Tabletop, twist, long legs, return. Keep it up. Remember, we're moving with precision here. So we want to be really precise and intentional with where we place our body, not just falling into it or letting gravity decide where we end up. So you are deciding exactly where in the space around you you're sending your twist. You're deciding exactly where you're sending your toes. That's it. And you're bringing yourself back to your neutral. Lovely. We've got 3 more to go. So bringing that back. Final 2. Tabletop, twist, long legs, return. Tabletop, twist, long legs, return, and relax. Really nice work. Stretch one leg down to the bottom of your mat, pull one knee up, and just give that a really nice squeeze to stretch out into the hip there. And we'll take 3 full breaths here. Changing legs. So you stretch one out, pull one in, and take 3 deep breaths. Wonderful. Releasing there. Let's roll ourselves over onto our tummies. And if you can just prop up on your elbows and your forearms, we're going to find a nice stretch for the tummy. So the idea here is that we open the collarbones wide, draw the shoulder blades down and stay nice and proud out the shoulders. We're then going to grip onto the mat and almost kind of claw yourself into the mat with those fingertips and try and draw yourself forwards. So imagine your chest and your ribs are walking forwards, okay, along the mat. So you can pull with the hands, drag the chest and the ribs forwards, and you might find that your pubic bone kind of starts to drag on the floor, and that's lovely because we're starting to find that length down the front of the tummy there. So you're trying to get your chest, your ribs forwards, away from your pelvis. Now we can do that a little bit higher up if you want to, just see what your back's happy with. So you could prop up a little bit higher on the hands. You don't have to go into full back bend, you can keep a slight bend at the elbow. And again, I'm going to grip and claw into the mat, pull myself forwards as if I'm dragging my chest and my ribs forwards. And that gives me a really good length through the tum. Holding there for another breath or 2. And then relaxing back down to the mat. I can rest my head on my hands. And then I'm going to just draw one foot towards the bottom. Reach around, grab the foot and pull it in a little bit tighter to give you a good quad and hip flexor stretch. If your knee has managed to stick out really wide to the edge of your mat, bring it back in nice and central. And then gently push your hips forwards into the mat. And changing leg. So when you're ready, grab your foot, pull it towards the bottom, and breathing here, pushing your hips forwards into the mat. And releasing. Push back onto your hands and knees now. So wrists stacked beneath shoulders, knees stacked beneath the hips. Let's drop the belly, lift the tailbone, look ahead. open your collarbones here. Take a nice breath in. Exhale, rounding through the spine, tucking the tail, tucking the chin. Inhale into that back bend. Exhale into that rounded spine. Inhaling into the back bend. Exhaling into the rounded spine. Inhaling into the back bend. Exhaling to rounded spine. Taking your hands perhaps a little bit wider towards the edges of your mat now, and circle the chest across the mat, left to right or right to left, just starting to take those circles through the chest. So this is a good one for opening shoulders, but also adding in that element of strength across chest and shoulders. One more time, and then changing direction. Lovely, and then coming to neutral spine, bringing the hands back in to about shoulder width and sending the hips back to the bottom. You can come to rest your head between your elbows. Spread your fingertips wide on the mat. Push your mat forwards and stretch your sit bones back towards your feet. Find that full length through the back there. Let's gently bring ourselves back up and around to a seated position. Taking two hands up for a really nice big stretch. Inhale. Exhale, releasing. Inhale, stretching. Exhale, releasing. And one more time, big reach and stretch. And exhale, let that go. I hope you've enjoyed today's class. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you on the next session.